On September 13, 2013, while exploring the Rising Star Cave in South Africa, cavers Rick Hunter and Stephen Tucker discovered hominid fossils at the bottom of the Naledi chamber. They returned later and took photographs which they shared with South African paleoanthropologists Pedro Boshoff and Lee Rogers Berger. Berger then organized a team for the excavation of the site. Among their discoveries, but perhaps what was the greatest, is what they described as a graveyard in the fossil site located in the Naledi chamber, all of which is featured in a Netflix documentary, Unknown Cave of Bones, outlining their discovery of these hominids, which are now referred to as Homo Naledi, an extinct species dated to the Middle Pleistocene, 335,000 to 236,000 years ago. The centerpiece of this fossil site was an intact skeleton in a burial pit. To examine it, they decided to encase the entire specimen in a plaster cast, similar to how a paleontologist would excavate a dinosaur fossil. Berger took the plaster cast to a hospital for a CT scan. During the scanning process, an out-of-place object, not a bone, but a stone, was noticed. This stone did not match the morphology of the surrounding rocks and pebbles. Not only that, it was found near the fossil hominid Homo Naledi's finger bones, essentially in its hands. Recognizing the need for further investigation and examination, the fossil was transported to the European Synchrotron Radiation Facility in Grenoble, France, which boasts an X-ray machine 10 billion times more powerful than hospital devices. The ESRF-EBS X-ray can produce images with an accuracy down to 2 microns. For comparison, a human hair is 150 microns in diameter. The resulting 3D model and imaging are comparable to an electron microscope examination of the actual object free from the cast. All the precise details of the quote-unquote rock can be observed. To meet the criteria for a forensic archaeologist in determining if a rock is a quote-unquote lithic or a stone tool, multiple points of conformity to this criteria will be presented, proving that the quote-unquote rock-like stone tool, as Berger calls it, is undoubtedly a tool. This assertion has faced criticism, which is why I made this video. Now let's break down the criteria for assessing whether this stone qualifies as a quote-unquote lithic, a term used to describe prehistoric stone tools. Criteria 1. Morphology. The stone tool displays an ergonomic shape, reminiscent of contemporary tool handles. In this slide, I'm featuring a forward grip, a term commonly associated with knife-holding techniques. In this position, the stone could be used for prying or as a defensive weapon for jabbing. Furthermore, within the morphology criteria, in this slide I've included a hand position called the reverse grip. Within this grip, the tool could be used for stabbing or carving. Criteria 2. Topology. Similar, albeit less detailed, stone tools with comparable topologies were found not far from Rising Star Cave, specifically in Sibidu Cave in South Africa. Criteria 3. Flint knapping. The stone tool exhibits clear signs of deliberate shaping, suggesting it was fashioned for a specific purpose. Lastly, criteria 4. Context. The stone tool was discovered in a burial site that included remnants of fire making and the preparation of animals for consumption. Additionally, noticeable etch marks were found on the walls of the same cave system. Conclusion. This is a 300,000-year-old stone tool created by our distant ancient ancestors.